This is part 2 of a 3-part guide. If you haven't seen the first part yet, click the link in the description to get caught up, as I will be assuming you've watched it prior to this one. Hello everyone, I'm Luxin, and welcome back to my introduction to competitive Splatoon. This time, I'll be talking about the different classes of weapons present in Splatoon, as well as the game's gear system. I'll be spending most of this video in the testing range, which is where many players like to warm up before a tournament set. In Splatoon, all weapons come in a kit that consists of a main weapon, a sub-weapon, and a special weapon, for a total of 91 sets. However, over half of those sets are the same main weapon giving a different sub and special to allow it to play a different role in the original version. Due to this, it would be redundant, and take far too long, to explain all 91 weapons separately, so I divided main weapons up into the same categories the game does, and I'll talk about subs and specials afterwards. Shooters are the largest and most diverse category, and can play the widest variety of roles. They range from extremely short-range weapons with low accuracy designed for flanking or getting map control single-handedly, to long-range ones with incredible accuracy for taking out snipers or other distant targets, and everywhere in between. Because of this, it's hard to find a player who mains the shooter class as a whole. For example, I play mid to long-range shooters, which means that, while I'm great with a weapon like the splatter shot or 96 gal, I struggle with something with less range like an arrow spray. There's also a subclass of shooters called blasters, which shoot out a blob of ink that explodes at a certain distance. Hitting someone directly with the blob at any distance is an instant kill for most blasters, while the explosion causes splash damage in an area. Rollers are closest to shotguns and other shooters. Their attacks cover a relatively short-range spread in front of the user that does heavy damage to anyone caught in it, with the added wrinkle of being able to roll after flicking to cover turf. Different rollers are set apart by the ones with faster flicks having shorter ranges and less damage than the longer range ones, ranging from the nimble assassin carbon roller to the slow juggernaut dynamo. Rollers also have a subclass called brushes, just never say that they're a subclass and not their own class to a brush main, that are extremely fast while moving, but also have very low damage output, being unable to kill with a single direct hit, and having a rapid swing mechanic in play instead. Unlike the 5 types of blasters, there are only 2 brush variants, but they play differently enough to be a separate class. Due to most of the weapons being added in updates post-release, there actually weren't any brushes or blasters in the game at release, which further cements them as different from their parent class. The final weapon class present in Splatoon at release was the Charger. These are your typical sniper rifles, taking time to charge up to full power but presenting a one-hit kill when released at full charge. The exception to this rule is the Bamboozler, although this is made up for by its ridiculously fast charge time and unique mechanic where an uncharged shot goes just as far as a fully charged one. As expected, shorter range chargers take less time to charge to make up for the lack in range. 2 types of charger also come in scoped variants, which cause the camera to go into first person while charging up. This has the disadvantage of being unable to see anything around your inkling while aiming far away, but the advantages of a more precise aim and slight range boost over the unscoped version. The E-Leader 3K scope is in fact the longest range main weapon in the game. While blasters and brushes are subclasses of pre-existing classes that were added after launch, 2 entirely new ones, sloshers and splatlings, were also added. Sloshers are similar to the nozzle nose shooters, which aren't fully automatic like the rest of them and only release 3 bullets each time the fire button is pressed. Since they're buckets, sloshers will only release a single slosh that's not strong enough to kill in one hit, but has a distinct arc to it that allows it to reach over walls to hit inklings any other weapon never could. The 2 shorter range varieties of slosher are also pretty good at covering turf, while the longer range sloshing machine has a blaster-like explosion at the end of its sloshes. While sloshers took the multi-shot semi-automatic shooters and made them a single shot, splatlings take the one-shot chargers and make them multi-shot. Like a charger, holding down the fire button with the splatling will charge the weapon up, but releasing it will cause it to start firing rapidly for a few seconds rather than releasing one powerful shot. Like the sloshers, there are only 3 variations of splatling, 1 each for short, mid, and long ranges. Sub-weapons are meant to supplement your main weapon, and as such take up large amounts of ink, to the point where only 1 or 2 can be used before refilling, depending on the sub. There are 10 different subs, 4 of which are different types of bombs. Burst bombs are ink water balloons that explode on contact, doing more damage near the center of the blast like a blaster shot, but still unable to one-hit kill. Splat bombs have a short fuse and can roll around after landing, including down ramps. Suction bombs have a longer fuse, but also a larger blast radius, and can stick to flat surfaces they hit, allowing for more precise aiming. Seekers do just that. Lock onto an enemy and follow them until the fuse runs out, they hit a wall, or they find their mark. All bombs besides burst bombs are capable of one-hit killing in the center of the blast. Point sensors mark enemies in a small radius, creating a marker on both the screen and gamepad map for a few seconds that the entire team can see. Similarly, disruptors put a yellow aura around enemies in range, which can still be seen when they go into squid form, but they don't show up on the map or have arrows pointing to them. Instead, it greatly decreases the affected Inkling's movement speed, as well as speeds up their ink consumption. Splash walls create a barrier that blocks enemy fire, disappearing after a few seconds or after taking enough damage. They're one of the more useful subs, but it's important to watch out for bombs, as any type will explode instantly upon contact with a wall, so splat and suction bombs specifically are insta-kills that can be hard to see coming if you're standing directly underneath it. Sprinklers are again just that. Sprinklers that spread ink in a circular area over time, only doing minimal damage if they hit you. They can be destroyed with only a little bit of damage, and only one can be deployed per person at a time, so launching a new one before the original is destroyed will cause it to disappear. Ink mines have the same kind of one at a time rule, but they can't be destroyed and will go off automatically after some time has passed. They also detonate if an enemy Inkling gets near them, and can't be seen until then by the other team, giving the player who sets it off only a couple seconds to escape. Finally, squid beacons act as single-use super jump points anyone on your team can use. Only 3 are deployable per person at a time, and they can also be destroyed with a few shots. Special weapons are the third and final part of every kit. They need to be charged up by covering turf before use, which fills up the meter in the upper right hand corner of the screen. Different specials have different amounts required to fill the meter, and weapons have a special depletion stat that determines how much meter is lost when you die. There are 10 specials in total. 4 are bomb rushes, which simply give the user unlimited use of bombs for a few seconds. Bomb rushes are only available on weapons with bombs for a sub, and the type of bomb in the rush is always the same as that weapon's sub. The Echo Locator is another special based around a sub-weapon. It effectively applies point sensors to every enemy currently alive, though unlike bomb rushes, it only shows up on weapons that don't have point sensors for a sub. There are 2 different types of specials that provide temporary invincibility to the user. The Bubbler creates a shield around the Inkling that can be shared with teammates. You can't be killed with it unless you fall off the map, but getting hit still causes extreme knockback that can push you off or too far away to hit who you are aiming at. The Kraken is limited to the user and shares the same knockback penalty, but it instead locks the user into a powered up version of their squid form that can one-shot anything with a single melee hit. The Ink Strike is sort of like a nuke. When using it, the user will be locked into a vulnerable state until it goes off. You can then select a location on the gamepad map, which is where it will land after a few seconds, though not before giving a warning indicator visible to the enemy. The Killer Whale is a long tube of sound that has effectively infinite range, and deals very rapid damage over time, so in most cases only luck will allow you to survive getting caught in one. Lastly, the Ink Zuka is a fairly cut-and-dry bazooka that replaces your main weapon for a small amount of time. Shots are similar to small Rainmaker blasts, and are insta-kill. The weapon has a bit of recoil, but some of that can be mitigated by going into squid form immediately after each shot fires. You've probably noticed over the course of these videos that Inklings have a large variety of style options at their disposal. These aren't just cosmetic, and each piece of gear, which are divided into hats, shirts, and shoes, has its own perks. The system of obtaining gear and unlocking perks is complicated, and there are plenty of videos elsewhere about it, so I'm just going to briefly explain how gear works. Each piece has one main ability slot and up to 3 sub-slots. Mains cannot be changed, but subs can be to make better builds. There are 24 possible abilities in total. 13 of these basically amount to stat buffs, increasing things like your swim speed, attack power, or decreasing things like the amount of ink consumed by your main weapon, or even the respawn timer. These abilities can show up in both main and sub slots, although the effect of a sub is a bit less than 1/3 that of a main. Effects from having multiple of one ability stack, but more than one main's worth can cause diminishing returns for some abilities. The other 11 can only appear in main slots, and are also locked to specific types of gear, an example being Tenacity only showing up on hats. These give the user new passive abilities. They range from the aforementioned Tenacity, which causes your special meter to fill over time when the opposing team has more Inklings alive than yours, trading in some swim speed, which can be offset by also stacking swim speed up, for a swim that makes no ripples, or decreasing the movement penalty stepping in enemy ink causes. A link to the full list of abilities will be in the description. That's it for this video, but be sure to subscribe so you can catch part 3 when it comes out. Links to my Twitter and Twitch are in the description, so follow those if you want updates on when I'm streaming Splatoon. I also left my Discord information in there in case you want to talk to me directly. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned to the next part of this guide, where I'll talk about how tournaments work and how you can get involved in the competitive community. Until next time, this is Luxin, signing off.